Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Becomes Player and Got Dragon Ball Level Powers Part 6. CH25 Army vs Issei. Issei was watching the entire JoJo series before the introduction of the 6th series, which should be coming soon. Rossweisse was next to him on the couch, she was holding on to him while cheering for the enemy's side. Ever since he came into her house, which she freely allows for him to enter, he was met with her in her pajamas, which still hugged her massive assets. The both of them worked together to make some of the food, casually trolling each other when making some of the food. Ross was pouting at times, which made Issei chuckle at how adorable this woman was. The both of them finished the food and sat down on the unbelievably large couch that Rossweisse may have gotten due to the money that she received from Lord Auden. That is when they watched the series. Issei, you seem to like the villainous approach more than the heroic approach. Rossweisse turned her head and slowly began to get embarrassed at this. Not many would notice her love for the villains, because most of the time they are better written and produced compared to the heroes. She began to move her hands all over the place trying to defend herself. She really needed some social interactions, but he couldn't even say anything because before Issei's awakening, he was left with being useless and talking with women. Almost as bad as Izuku Midoriya talking with the opposite gender. Rossweisse? Well. It's not like that. Issei chuckled at her reaction and booped her on the nose. She was honestly confused, her brain was processing everything that was happening, and finally she pulled off the angry look. Issei continued to laugh at her until she slapped him on the top of the head. Issei. Ouch, why did you do that? Rossweisse ignored that comment, but she continued. Rossweisse. Don't do that. Issei was holding on to his head, he almost lost 2% of his health points. That was too much to lose from being smacked by a woman that was acting like a typical woman. Rossweisse. Anyways, do you want to hang out tomorrow after school at a restaurant? I don't really have anything to do and I usually grade work at the last day before everything is due. This woman was one of those teachers, the slackers. Issei. Are you asking me out for a date? Rossweisse blushed a hard red color and was about to defend herself until Issei smiled. But she sighed and nodded. Issei. You know what, sure, what could go wrong? Rossweisse smiled and the both of them finished with the series. Issei, sure, was afraid of asking out a woman since the last time he did go on a date he was missing his heart, but over time and thanks to the gamer's mind, he learned that not all women are cold-hearted murders that only want to shatter a man's heart. Take Rossweisse for an example, the woman was practically in Issei's situation about asking someone out. Since Issei knew her more than anyone else and that he just wanted to hang out with Rossweisse, he accepted. Rossweisse was about to ask Issei on a date during the hangout, but since he already accepted taking her on a date beforehand, she was exploding in excitement in her heart. Who else would be the perfect man for Rossweisse than Issei? He helped her, he saved her twice, he got her a job, he helped her confidence, he even helped her with getting stronger, so why wouldn't she ask him out? Why wouldn't she accept? Rossweisse? A mug. She was getting redder by the second. Even Ria's hair would be nothing compared to how red this woman was getting, that was until Issei said. Issei. At the cafe tomorrow afternoon 5 p.m. is that a good time? Rossweisse could only nod and ran to her room. Issei walked out of the house and made his way to his home, busting down the door, which was already busted. He just shattered the door when he came in and made his way to his room. Ignoring whatever his mother was saying, he needed to think of the events of Surziches. It said that this was only his base form, it wasn't even his full power, and he was a level 150. That was a massive difference in power between him and Issei. Grafia was a few levels higher than Issei, but with the additional help with his holy magic, he could probably take her down. This was telling him that he was breaking past the barrier that kept him being on the lower boundary of being in the supernatural world and was entering into the middle class of beings. Issei. But what is giving me the bad feelings is that new side quest. It seems to be building upon a major boss battle, and I don't like the sound of it. Issei closed his eye and began to rest, sure he didn't need it, but if he could sleep then he would gladly take the time, because dreaming about muffins and candy would be better than doing nothing. Time skip. Issei woke up to the sound of someone screaming his name out. He quickly got up and got ready faster than ever before. Mother. Issei, someone's at the door. Walking down the stairs and seeing two familiar faces. One being Irina and the other being Zenobia, there seemed to be one more being in the middle. A woman with blonde hair, she was short and had this innocent look in her eyes. Name? Asia Argento. Fame? The Holy Maiden of Heaven. Title? Heavenly Maiden. Race? Human. Gender? Female. Level? 55. Health points HP. 4600, 4600. Magic MP. 6000, 6000. Fatigue? 0. Strength STR? 89. Vitality Vit? 92. Agility AGL? 80. Intelligence Int? 80. Sense S? 90. Luck LCK? 50. Skills. Twilight Healing. The ability to heal others at a pace depending on the training that the host receives. Holy Magic. Trained by some of the angels in heaven, this woman has the ability to use some holy magic at a mediocre level. The woman name was Asia, nice to know. She seemed to be with the two annoying women, this was already turning out to be bad for Issei. Asia. Hello, I'm afraid that we haven't met. My name is Asia Argento and I am with these women. Asia bowed in respect while Zenobia had this smug look, she was thinking that Issei had met his match, but oh boy was she wrong. Issei was had above them all, he was on the level of some of the higher beings. Issei. The name is Issei mom, how about you go back to doing whatever that you were doing while the four of us go outside to have a brief talk. Issei was standing strong on this decision and his mother could easily see that. She nodded and went back to her room to sleep. Issei walked outside and motioned for the women to follow him. He wasn't going to involve Rossweisse into this because he was finally going to decide that enough was enough. These women had caused problems for him and now he was pissed off. Zenobia. It seems that you're already fearing the might of us now, would you actually listen to our order or do we have to settle this like we did beforehand? Issei. Can't be afraid of someone that has a dildo as a weapon. Issei casually said that while walking away. Zenvoya was offended by this, but once they saw that they were on an open field that was a few blocks away from Issei's house. Something was going to happen. Issei. What the hell do you want? Arena. Oh Issei, don't be like that. Issei. Did I fucking stutter? The two from before of them pulled out their weapons, the Excalibur fragments. The dragon dildo and the animal dildo while Asia was trying to stop the fighting. She failed. Zenobia. We told you that we would be back and we want to make sure that you wouldn't bother us in this battle. Asia. We aren't supposed to fight. Zenobia. No, he has disrespected the church, look at him. He doesn't even look like someone with great importance, why is he disrespecting a faction with great power? Not only that, but he destroyed an Excalibur, a legendary sword that should be respected with great honor. Issei. Coming from someone who was beaten the fuck up in one punch. Zenobia. You caught. Issei quickly interrupted her mid-sentence. Issei. Me off guard my ass. You were fully aware and I also shattered that dildo. How the hell were you able to fix it? Zenobia. The church has many powers and one of them is fixing the Excalibur fragments. Irina tried to stop the situation from escalating, she tried her best to stop Issei from using his weapon. She knew that once Issei pulled out the weapon was when things got serious. A sword that probably weighed 3 times the user's weight wasn't something to push aside in a battle, that was when you know when a warrior was in front of you. She tried her best to calm Issei down with her normal smile, Issei didn't even change his expression, it was still the same bored, unimpressed, and disappointed expression. Irina. Issei, we don't need to do this. Issei immediately shot her idea down with a strong glare which sent a shiver down this woman's spine. This wasn't the same little Issei that she knew from before they separated. Issei. Why are you acting as if you know me? Woman, I haven't even talked with you in a fucking decade, tried to contact you with the number that you gave, but guess what I received? No goddamn message. This hurt Irina, but the truth does hurt. Issei quickly saw the angered expression on Zenobia. Zenobia. We came to this land to speak with the devils, but here we are speaking with a troublesome human. Issei. Isn't that why you're not sent to many important missions? You're nothing but a problem, a thorn to the side of your superiors. Holding a toothpick and thinking of yourself as a high and almighty being. Snap back to reality, woman, this is the real world where there are beings such as gods. I must have hit you a bit too hard and somehow damaged your brain. Issei opened his hands and looked down to see the expressions of the women. Asia was the only literate one and the one with common sense, it was unfortunate that she was with these women. Zenobia finally had enough. Issei quickly disappeared from their line of view, they then saw someone in front of them. It was Issei without his shirt and he wasn't smiling. Issei. Then I dare you to even swing your swords at me. Main quest. Show dominance. Requirements. Destroy the holy priests and make sure you don't kill them. Reward. 25,000 experience points. Also respect from some other beings. Bonus objective. Create an earthquake with the most powerful blow that you could deliver onto the ground to show absolute fear into them. Reward. 25,000 experience points. Even more respect from other beings. Zenobia was the one to respond first, she went for a quick attack but was met with a kick to the jaw, sending her flying away and crashing into a few trees. Issei could see the shadow of a few priests near him. They were roughly around the power of Zenobia and Irina. Issei. So, this is a full-out army versus me? Irina. Yep, we wanted to make sure that you wouldn't have a chance against us. We brought some help from the church with the help of Asia, we should be able to defeat you. Issei quickly activated his god power which surprised all 10 people surrounding him. Pulling out his massive sword, he quickly slammed it into the ground, causing a massive earthquake, shaking the entire land and breaking the terrain around them. Issei took advantage of Irina not paying attention to the battle and sliced her arm straight off. Critical hit landed. Issei quickly used the weight of the sword to slam one of the priests behind Irina into the ground and shattered some of the bones of the priest. Asia. Irina and Zenobia weren't kidding when they said that you were. Issei quickly appeared in front of her and landed a divine blow to the gut, causing for the woman to cough out blood from the impact. Issei quickly spun around and landed a jaw-breaking blow. Critical hit landed, sending Asia into the ground. The both of them, Irina and Asia, landed in the same area. One of them was screaming about their arm being sliced off while the other was recovering from the attack. Issei was quickly shot by a magic bullet. The bullet obviously didn't do much because he wasn't a devil, so the bullet acted as if it was a normal bullet. Issei. Looks like someone wants to die. Issei threw his heavy sword at speeds that no one could react, slicing the two right legs of the priest that shot him. Critical hit landed. Many would expect Issei to be a bitch, but when in combat with the system, he was built different. Zenobia. What the hell? We have the numbers over him. Zenobia threw her sword towards Issei. She was given another holy sword, thanks to the church being able to fix the Excalibur destruction. Issei sliced the weapon in two and rushed at the woman. Asia acted and randomly shot in front of Zenobia, hoping that it would hit Issei, which it did, but the attack didn't do much. Issei punched Zenobia. With so much force that not only was she knocked the fuck out, but her money also fell onto the ground. It made it easier for Issei to steal the money for himself. Zenobia was sent flying through the entire forest. The chances of her surviving was a flip of a coin. Critical hit landed. Issei. Why do I have the feeling of screaming one punch? That was when everyone rushed at Issei. Irina got her arm back thanks to Asia's healing. Issei grabbed his sword and activated one final attack. Putting in his holy energy, the power that stopped all the people rushing at Issei and brought them to their knees. The power that resembled the actual god, Issei finally created an image of a massive sword on top of his massive sword and slammed it right in front of the 8 people in front of him. Destroying the entire land, changing the atmosphere in terms of the temperature by a single degree in this close proximity. Critical hit landed on all enemies, blowing everyone back a few hundred meters. Issei was standing in the middle of a massive crater, while the entire land was shaking from the brute power that Issei exerted. Issei. Quickest win. Issei turned around and walked away. The holy women were nothing to brute power. Blitz has evolved into a new skill. Blitz exertion. Description. 60% more speed and 10% more reaction speed. New ability. Burst. Description. While using exertion, host could charge up their speed and burst with twice the speed for a quick 3 seconds. Main quest completed. Show dominance. Requirements. Destroy the holy priests and make sure you don't kill them. Reward. 25,000 experience points. Bonus objective completed. Create an earthquake with the most powerful blow that you could deliver onto the ground to show absolute fear into them. Reward. 25,000 experience points. Issei liked all that, but what he was waiting for was the level ups. Level up X6. Name. Issei Hyoudou. Fame. The Hunter. Level. 81. Exp. 1180, 8100. Health points HP. 9800, 10,450. Regenerates HP by 209 for every minute. Magic MP. 11,000, 13,350. Restores MP by 178 for every minute. Fatigue. 0. Strength STR. 165, plus 40. Vitality Vit. 168, plus 41. Agility AGL. 168, plus 10. Intelligence Int. 168, plus 10. Sense S. 168, plus 18. Luck LCK. 167, plus 5. Ability points AP. 0. Additional effects from equipment. Plus 40% damage reduction. Plus 50% critical damage. Plus 30% critical chance. When charging sword for every 2 seconds, damage doubles. Limit is 2 times. When guarding with this thick sword, damage reduction plus 25%. Plus 10% damage against beasts, monsters, and the undead. Issei smiled knowing that he leveled up a few times. This quest was far easier than other quests. Why was that? Turning around and leaving towards his house, he could see the 3 Excaliburs on the ground. One of them was broken, and the other 2 were perfectly fine. He didn't care about them at all. Whoever threatened him would receive an immense beating. Issei. Rossweisse will most likely pester me about who created this earthquake. Oh my god, she will bother me to no end. Hopefully, she isn't too formal at this date. While a normal person would either worry about the women or don't give a fuck about them and walk off, Issei was worrying about the complaints that Rossweisse would have. He was at the level where Rossweisse would blame everything that would suspiciously happen in the town on him. Rossweisse. Coughs, Issei. Turning around, he was met with Rossweisse appearing in front of him with a disappointed facial expression. Rossweisse. Honestly, I don't know what else to expect from you. The moment that you're gone is the moment that you destroy something. I should seriously just keep you in my house and not allow you to leave my vision just to make sure that the people around us actually survive. She looked around to see the mass destruction and slumped down. Rossweisse. Damn, I wished I could have been a part of this. Issei. Whoa, what the hell? Rossweisse. I felt a major tremor and came out as fast as I could, then I heard fighting happening here. Came here and knew that you were the cause of it. Issei began sweating at what was to come, he was going to get an earful, and all of it was going to escape the other ear. Rossweisse. It appears that you solved the ruckus. She looked around and glared at the chestnut-haired woman. The both of them were about to walk off until something didn't feel right. That was when the system began to glitch. The system was somehow glitching when normally it would adapt to any situation. Issei. What the hell? Warning, 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 warning. Issei was confused on why the system was screaming warning multiple times. This only occurred when something bad was happening, but it was in the middle of the day, nothing bad could happen. Issei. What the hell is happening? That was when he dodged a light spear. His senses acted just in time, he turned around and found who was causing all the warning signals. Rossweisse quickly pulled out her spear knowing this man, she knew what this man meant. A man with 10 wings, each as black as the man's soul, smiling with a darkened expression on his face while having the 3 Excaliburs in his hand, Issei could see another being under him. 2 people were staring directly at him, one was catching Issei's attention, while the other was a normal human. Name. Kakabiel. Fame. Rogue Fallen. Level. 85. Health points HP. 10,000, 10,000. Magic MP. 16,500, 16,500. Fatigue. 0. Strength STR. 200. Vitality Vit. 200. Agility AGL. 200. Intelligence Int. 180, plus 40. Sense S. 200. Luck LCK. 100. Ability points AP. 0. Kakabiel. My hypothesis was true, there was someone in this area that was causing a ruckus. The fallen spread his arms out in the air, while Rossweisse screamed at the man, ruining his moment. Nice. Rossweisse. Kakabiel, what are you doing? Aren't you supposed to be back at your headquarters? The fallen angel finally noticed the woman and began to chuckle, his plan was perfectly working. Kakabiel. Oh, even Lord Odin has sent someone to be killed by my hands. I wonder how Thor would feel seeing one of his very few friends killed by my hands. Rossweisse. You and I both know that he would kill the entire fallen angel faction with his massive hammer. Kakabiel. That's the point, little girl. Rossweisse began to fly in the air while Issei watched the two argue, he was about to sit back and enjoy himself watching these two argue, but that was when they seemingly stopped talking. Issei. Fuck, there goes my entertainment. The magical barrier began to form around the 4 of them, the same one that Rainer used on him. Issei got an even better view of what Kakabiel looked like and said. Issei. Now I understand why my mom told me not to do crack. Rossweisse. Yeah, a friend of mine did some crack and turned into something similar to that thing's flying. She pointed towards Kakabiel with disgust. Kakabiel. Insolent brats, you did all the dirty work for me and gave me the Excalibur fragments. I was planning on waiting it out, but this opportunity came up and I knew that this would be the perfect time to fight. I have been yearning for another great war to happen, and this is the perfect opportunity for one to start. Maybe then I can finally have revenge on the father of humanity, Adam the First will kill that man. Issei. Damn, I was being played the entire time. Kakabiel waited for the other man to begin the process of fixing the Excalibur fragments. Name. Valper. Fame. Dumbus. Level. 45. Health points HP. 3,500, 3,500. Magic MP. 4875, 4875. Fatigue. 0. Strength STR. 60. Vitality Vit. 70. Agility AGL. 60. Intelligence Int. 65. Sense S. 68. Luck LCK. 60. Ability points AP. 0. Valper. Lord Kakabiel, everything will be ready in a few minutes, we just need to stall. Kakabiel chuckled and got on the floor. Getting into battle position, Issei pulled out his massive sword while Kakabiel formed a bunch of light spears. Rossweisse quickly powered up her spear with some elemental magic, 2 versus 1. Kakabiel. So, kids. How does it feel to know that you'll be fighting a veteran from the Great War? Issei. Disappointed that I'm fighting a parody version of an Elf on the Shelf and Peter Griffey drawn by a crackhead. Rossweisse. I just want to kill you. Boss quest. Save the world. Description. Stop this war. Reward. Slight respect from Adam. Slight respect from Eve. Slight respect from Odin. Slight respect from Thor. Slight respect from Azazel. Slight respect from Zeus. Respect from Cerziches. Plus 70,000 experience points. You'll actually get to go on the date that you promised Rossweisse. Failure. Someone will be joining the battle to help you, not someone you expect. The fight was about to begin. Issei might pull out his full divine form later on. Ch26 Excalibur vs Divine Issei. Issei and Rossweisse looked at each other and rushed into battle. Kakabiel prepared his light spear and threw it right towards Rossweisse. Issei quickly formed a divine spear and cancelled out Kakabiel's attempt. Issei activated exertion and appeared right in front of Kakabiel. Issei charged his ultra great sword, powering it up with divine energy surrounding it. Issei quickly slammed it into Kakabiel, who blocked the attack but was still forced down onto his knees due to the pressure. The struggle between the two was beginning to shake the ground. Two lower Satan class beings attack each other wasn't a joke. Kakabiel. Impressive but not. Being interrupted by someone, Rossweisse threw her spear directly at Kakabiel's hand and slightly scrapped it, which allowed for Issei to slice off one of his wings. Screaming in pain, the crack addict tried to stab Issei, forming a massive amount of light spears behind him. Each one missed thanks to Issei being able to counter it with his own divine spears, and he was punched in the gut by Issei. Kakabiel. Damn you humans, just like the father, you humans have a determination like no other. Even in the face of your superiors, you still fight. Issei. Humans are basically you all with no wings nor power. This allows us to learn from mistakes. Well, you are wanting another bullshit war with many supporting you. We the humans have learned to not have a world war because we all will die. We humans learn from our mistakes faster than you all learn from your mistakes. War after war, death after death, how much will you discriminate against your own kind? Angering Kakabiel, Rossweisse came in and stabbed Kakabiel in the same wing that Issei sliced off. The roots of the wing was stabbed, which caused even more blood to pour out. Kakabiel. Damn it, I forgot about the Valkyrie. Rossweisse. Your mistake. Double-teaming Kakabiel, Rossweisse began punching Kakabiel, which was doing much, but the slight delay in Kakabiel's reaction was enough for Issei to land a critical hit directly at the crack addict's face. Critical hit landed. Issei knew that he was the main power in this battle, quickly charging himself and using that new skill he obtained from the evolution of exertion. Issei perfectly bursted towards Kakabiel. Reeling his fist back, Issei was able to punch Kakabiel. Critical hit landed. Issei followed through with another kick to the face. This attack didn't activate the critical hit, but Issei was able to end the combo with an attempt. Forcing himself above the crack addict, Issei landed a powerful sledgehammer blow onto the back of Kakabiel. Kakabiel. Damn. I can't take you, Bo. Issei. You keep talking, yet nothing you have done is impressive. Calling yourself a veteran of the Great War may have been a little sus. Rossweisse. He's one of those who talk big about themselves. Issei backed away and sensed a powerful spear filled with elemental magic piercing right through another wing of Kakabiel. That was when a huge energy burst occurred. Kakabiel wasn't smiling anymore. He grabbed his own wing, which was injured, and ripped it clean off. A wing with a hole wasn't useful at all. Kakabiel. I'm done playing around. The crack addict rushed towards Rossweisse, moving nearly as fast as Issei. He may have been using some magic amplifier to increase his speed. Punching Rossweisse and grabbing her by the throat, he was expecting to see Issei in the air with a worried expression, but he was met with no one being in the air. Confused, he forgot one thing about Issei. He wasn't one of those anime characters which would do nothing until the camera zooms on them. He was already behind Kakabiel, punching the man in the back and forcing him to let go of Rossweisse. Kakabiel. Nice try. Kakabiel span around and kicked Issei right in the face, sending him skidding across the land. Rossweisse attempted to punch Kakabiel, but she was kicked in the neck and thrown in the air to be punctured by a light spear. Coughing out blood, she wasn't on the level of Kakabiel when he was serious. Kakabiel flew into the air and kneed her in the back and sent her flying in the air. He appeared again and combined both of his hands and the power of the light. Slamming his hands into the gut of Rossweisse and caused her to crash into the floor, creating a massive indentation on the ground. Breaking the floor. Kakabiel. One down, the other more powerful one is left to go. He dodged a narrow strike from Issei. The both of them stared at each other. Rushing at each other, reeling their fist back, Issei grabbed his heavy sword and covered not just his sword, but also his arm. Moving even faster than before, Issei directly hit Kakabiel in the chest. Critical hit landed. Issei. Looks as if there is nothing else to do besides entering that form. But that was when a huge energy surge occurred. A bright, shiny, holy, divine, immense light shot right into the sky, breaking past a barrier. Issei looked down to see something that he should have seen beforehand. Name. Excalibur. Rarity. A. Description. The supposed sword of the original King Arthur, which was given to the church after his respectable death. The power to kill the gods is within this sword. Those who wield this sword will feel confidence like no other. Power. Plus 25 strength, plus 25 agility, plus 25 intelligence, plus 25% damage to all supernatural beings, plus 50% damage to devils, dark beings, and shadows, plus 50% critical hit chance, plus 50% critical hit damage. Issei. Holy shit, that thing is far superior than anything that I have seen. So, from a dildo and the other Walmart toys comes a true legendary sword. Kakabiel. Finally, the sword that will bring down all, the sword that will destroy this world and bring back the war between the gods and the father of humanity. Issei looked at the sick maniac, quickly knowing that he was outmatched by him. Issei had no other choice but to use all his energy into this battle. Clenching his hands and screaming at the top of his lungs, light energy was being sent everywhere, beginning to shake the entire land, destroying the environment around them, shaking the barrier that was surrounding them. Issei continued to increase his power, which caught the attention of many beings around the world, sending tremors which increased in size. That was until it all stopped, standing in the middle of a massive crater around him. Issei was covered by a divine light, a divine aura which enhanced his looks of divinity. His shirt was melted off, his pants were already beginning to be damaged, his eyes were changed into a golden bronze color. Scene change brought to you by Record of Ragnarok being animated with decent quality. Michiel was sitting down in his office, holding his temples while staring at the system. The Red Dragon Emperor still hasn't even awakened the balance breaker, while the White Dragon Emperor had awakened his balance breaker a while back. Michiel. Father, without you, we don't stand a chance in this war against the other forces. Maybe we don't need to fight. But a dream needs to be reachable. The man had been desperately waiting for peace to come with the three factions. However, he was interrupted when he felt a small spark of energy from somewhere. It felt divine at the holiest level. It was similar to his father, the biblical god. Michiel. Dear father, this can't be happening. There's no way that father can be alive. Michiel quickly ran out of the office to alert the others. Michiel. Gabriel, we're going outside. Scene change. Serziches was messing with his wife until he felt a small spark of energy that felt so damn holy. Serziches. It's coming from my territory, the same one that I allowed my sister to borrow. Serziches began to use his brain and think of someone that could have that amount of energy until he came down to the one person that was the oddball in the town. Serziches. Issei that boy, wow, to be this powerful at such a young age. Amazing. Serziches ran out of his room while an angered Grafia screamed at him it didn't work. Grafia. Knowing him, he's going to bother that poor boy to no end with questions and practice battles. I'm sorry Issei, but my husband has the brain of a 5-year-old. Scene change. Enhancing his stats by a significant amount, Issei and Kakabiel were about to rush at each other until Issei began to power up his sword. Enhancing it with his divine energy, the both of them had powerful weapons, rushing at each other and clashing. Issei swung his sword which was blocked by Kakabiel, but this allowed for Issei to blind the crack addict with a burst of energy, allowing him to stab Kakabiel. Kakabiel. What the hell, this sword was supposed to make me invincible from the rumors. Issei. A sword doesn't affect the outcome of a battle, but the skills do. Dropping his sword, Issei began to use his skills. Kicking Kakabiel. Critical hit landed. Kakabiel quickly took action and swung his large blade at Issei which Issei blocked. The both of them began to fight, slashing their sword at each other. The Excalibur in Kakabiel's hands shined in a brilliant light, charging up a powerful slash with holy magic, which Issei countered with his divine magic, cancelling each other out and creating an explosion sending each other back. Issei flashed a quick smirk and rushed back at the crack addict while the bum threw a light spear, a concentrated and dense spear, at him. Slightly piercing Issei, he gritted his teeth in pain and displeasure. Another one came, but Issei was able to dodge this one and watched the crack addict's hand. He began to move it around. Knowing something was up, he looked to see a random light spear flying right past him, slightly cutting him once more. Swinging his sword to block the next strike, Issei was stuck. Blocking and dodging, this was the only thing that he could do, but the good thing was that he could force the crack addict to waste some massive amount of magic. Staling out the fallen cadre class leader until he stopped, he rushed back at the crack addict with his sword covered in divine magic and slammed it in front of the bum, catching the fallen angel off guard from the surprise attack. Sending a shockwave of divine energy damaging Kakabiel's hand, Issei wasn't aiming to completely kill the crack addict, but he was aiming to take the sword from him. He already has guessed that the church would most likely waste the potential that the sword could give to their user, especially when speaking about the blue-haired woman. He knew that the devils just couldn't even touch a sword with this much holy divinity. Knowing that he was fighting for the side of humanity, his own kind, he would just take the sword for himself. Respecting the will of King Arthur, Issei rushed back at the crack addict. The chances of him landing a critical hit was high existent, his luck was severely above even Kakabiel's. Issei. Wanting to start a war is one of the most pathetic drives for one to pursue. Kakabiel. You wouldn't understand, you're just a child. Issei. You're right, I won't understand. I don't speak the language of bullshit. Issei activated burst from exertion and rushed at the crack addict, slashing the bum with his sword causing major damage. Without landing a critical hit, he realized that he doesn't do all that much damage. The fallen cadre class leader was already ahead of him and attempted to get a clean hit on Issei, but thanks to Issei being human, he concentrated on his right hand and grabbed the Excalibur, attempting to break the sword. He couldn't do it to the sword anymore. This wasn't the dildo that he once destroyed, this was a sword that could destroy the gods. Issei tried to land his own combo, going for a full-out combo of landing 3 slashes, 1 horizontal, vertical, and diagonal, while following through with a power punch, sending the crack addict away into another wall. Before he could sprint against it, the crack addict, an explosion of holy energy occurred, blowing Issei back. Looking back at the Kakabiel, gritting his teeth with pure raw anger, he could easily see that it was glowing a deep white color while having this golden aura around him. That was when Issei realized that Kakabiel's was enhancing not just the sword with his magic, but he was also enhancing the power of himself. Getting his guard up, Issei tried to read his opponent's movements from the looks and the position. This may not have been the most brutal battle that he had been in, but this battle was having the highest stakes. The moment that the fallen angel made a movement was when Issei was met with a powerful punch in the gut, followed through with a kick to the chin and a slash towards the side. Coughing out blood, Kakabiel moved as fast as Issei did when he activated burst. The next hit that Kakabiel landed was with his sword, sending Issei back flying into the rocks. Issei had enough, spinning around and launching himself towards Kakabiel from the rock. He formed a divine light around his sword to ensure that it would blind Kakabiel's eyes with the brightness. Swinging his sword at the fallen once he appeared in front of him, but instead Kakabiel's already had adapted to the attempt and blocked his slash. Having enough and finally fully focusing on this battle, Issei let go of his sword and stabbed the fallen side with a quick jab with a divine spear he quickly created and followed through with a divine uppercut. Continually stabbing and finally forming a divine sledgehammer which he slammed on top of the cadre, finally launching a powerful roundhouse kick, sending the fallen flying back. Kakabiel landed on the ground and dusted himself and got back up. Issei was finally done playing games. Exerting a massive amount of energy, he quickly formed a massive amount of divine spears and condensed them all into one thing and formed a powerful sword identical to his ultra greatsword. Issei. Let's take things to the next level. Kakabiel. Let's. Moving at such speeds and clashing sword, clashing fists, clashing with kicks, the battle was balanced. The both of them seemed to have their own speed boosts matching each other. Issei landed a powerful blow followed by Kakabiel landing a powerful blow. Each punch was countered by another punch. Issei was slowly losing health and magic points. The same could be said about the cadre in front of him. Breathing heavily, the both of them weren't giving in to the desire of resting. Continuously battling, blood for blood, limb for limb, ground was beginning to break, while everything around them was beginning to be launched every around them. Rossweisse, the holy woman, the trees, the shockwaves was pushing them all away. The both of them were equal in terms of power. That was until Issei created a barrage of divine spears which each landed onto cadre. Issei grabbed the head of the cadre and slammed it against the floor and ran along the surface with the head of the cadre scrapping against the floor. Continuously, scrapping the face of the cadre against the surface, then finishing it off with a powerful slam onto the ground, followed with a kick. Stepping back and catching his breath, Issei was watching Kakabiel slowly regain its composure. Issei. Not bad, this is what I call a true battle. Issei smirked and shakes his head to show the happiness of this battle. Blood dripping down from his head. Issei's smirk was replaced with confusion when Kakabiel's wasn't looking directly at him anymore. That was when a huge dark holy aura was covering the entire landscape, shaking the entire place with pure power and menacing intention. Issei was being pushed back. That was when Issei could see the impossible occur. Kakabiel was combining both his fallen energy and the power of the Excalibur into one which created a burst of immense energy to form. Issei rushed to Kakabiel once more, the both of them clashed again, but this time Issei was being pushed back. Not letting this bother him, he quickly did the same tactics, but this time the both of them could see that Issei was beginning to lose his shine. His magic reserves were going to deplete at any moment, but being the persistent bastard that he was, Issei began to convert his health into magic points, continuously amping himself to counter the energy surge that Kakabiel had. He was pushing himself to the absolute, breaking past the limits that even the system put on him, slashing with even more anger, cutting Kakabiel with two sword which he created. The speeds at which he was moving his arms at. As they have once said, what's a sword without a powerful host? Issei. Rias. Both of them cut each other, cuts were beginning to occur on the both of them. Continuously cutting each other, that was when they stopped and backed away from each other. Kakabiel. Amazing, but how about you take on the true force of Excalibur? Raising his hands with the sword in the air, he began to concentrate his energy while Issei knew something big was about to occur. Issei began to concentrate all the energy of his sword and from his body into his hands. Kakabiel. From the words from King Arthur, take the true might of Excalibur. Issei finished charging his ultimate attack, pointing his hands towards Kakabiel. Putting all the energy into one singular point for the most powerful and most concentrated attack that he could produce. Issei gave Kakabiel the strongest and most harshest boy ever. Issei. Divine Sword Issei. Both attacks clashed and created an explosion with so much power. Blasting everything away, everything went white. That didn't stop the two titans from clashing again. Blowing away the smoke with their speeds, clashing with each other. Trying to show their dominance to each other, Issei could see that someone was beginning to rise from the ground. Rossweisse finally woke up from the beating that she received, seeing the brutal battle between the two, she knew that this was the only chance that she could get to show use to Issei. Charging up as much energy that she could, elements such as the water, air, fire, and lava being produced from the tremors breaking the ground, allowing for the magma to rise to the surface. She created another massive rainbow-colored ball which she condensed into her spear, aiming it directly at Kakabiel. She reeled back and Rossweisse. Ragnarok, sending a massive powerful spear which penetrated Kakabiel's back, Issei was finally given the opportunity to use another skill on Kakabiel. Issei charged his sword for 6 seconds, which multiplied his power of the sword by 8 times, slamming it which resulted in devastating blow which brought Kakabiel down to a health point threshold lower than Issei. Critical hit landed, but being the experienced warmonger that he was, Kakabiel was able to also stab Issei. Critical hit landed, both of their swords were pointing out from their body, but that didn't mean that stopped. Since their swords were stuck, Issei and Kakabiel relied on their brute strength. Punching each other, each punch causing the other to spew out blood. Determination has been activated. Kakabiel. This is the battle that I have been waiting for. Issei. Then how about we end this? Charging up their fist, clashing with one another, Issei followed through with a powerful right hook, followed by a powerful left hook. Without the weapons, Kakabiel was on the short end stick. Issei dodged the attempted kick to the face by Kakabiel and punched the crack addict in the face, slamming him into the ground, creating the pressure needed for Kakabiel to be stunned. Issei grabbed his sword, which was stuck in the middle of the fallen angel's body, and stabbed the fallen in the head. Ruthlessly killing the man in the process, Kakabiel had a smile on his face, a smirk filled with satisfaction, knowing that he got the fight that he wished in having for years. The fight which he wanted, where he was pushed to the brink of death with his opponent. Issei. Let's do it again some other time. Kneeling on the ground and ripping the Excalibur out of his chest with a screech, the sword was finally his, it was finally humanity's sword once more. King Arthur, your sword has been retrieved a few hundred years late, but better later than never. Boss quest completed. Save the world. Description. Stop this war. Reward. Slight respect from Adam. Slight respect from Eve. Slight respect from Odin. Slight respect from Thor. Slight respect from Azazel. Slight respect from Zeus. Respect from Cerziches. Plus 70,000 experience points. You'll actually get to go on the date that you promised Rossweisse. Side quest completed. Make sure to kill Kakabiel. Reward. Plus extra respect from Cerziches. Plus 45,000 experience points. Hidden quest completed. Steal the Excalibur from the church's hand. Reward. Excalibur. Issei. Damn 3 quests in 1. Talk about management. Level up X13. Name. Issei Hyoudou. Fame. The Hunter. Level. 94. Exp. 6400, 9400. Health points HP. 600, 11,650. Regenerates HP by 233 for every minute. Magic MP. 0 16,950. Restores MP by 226 for every minute. Fatigue. 50. Strength STR. 191. Plus 30. Vitality Vit. 192, plus 41. Agility Agile. 191, plus 40. Intelligence Int. 191, plus 35. Sense S. 191, plus 18. Luck LCK. 191, plus 5. Ability points AP. 0. Additional effects from equipment. Plus 40% damage reduction. Plus 25% damage to all supernatural beings. Plus 50% damage to devils, dark beings, and shadows. Plus 50% critical hit chance. Plus 50% critical hit damage. Issei saw the blood that was pouring out of his body. But he knew that he would survive because he had gone through the same thing with Ludwig the Accursed. Having a massive hole in his body was like a Friday or maybe a Monday. Rossweisse. Issei. He wasn't able to turn his head up in time before someone tackled him into the ground. Rossweisse. What the hell were you thinking? Issei. I don't think, my body moves on its own. Rossweisse. Moves on its own to suicide. Since you basically took care of the main threat mostly on your own, leave everything else to me. She began to use her magic to try and heal the wound, but Issei's wound wasn't healing as fast as she was hoping. That was when someone came behind Rossweisse and began laughing. Valper. Kakabiel failed his mission, not too surprising seeing how he basically brought attention upon himself. However, maybe experimenting with this man would be the key to my plan. Snapping his finger, a lot of rogue supernatural beings appeared. Each one was ranging from ultimate class to low class. Everyone was screwed, but that didn't stop Rossweisse from getting up. She quickly retracted her spear and faces towards Valper. Rossweisse. How have you not been aborted by your mother? Like seriously, look at that face, it's almost as bad as Honest from McCain, Georgia kill. Before anything could even happen, someone intercepted Valper and his army. Valper. A surprise guest. How interesting. What do you want? Why are you even here? I'm pretty sure that this doesn't concern the likes of you. Is there any man who needs a reason to protect his children? Ch27 Adam and Aftermath. Adam. Is there any man who needs a reason to protect his children? The man in front of Issei and Rossweisse turned around and smiled directly at Issei. Valper was beginning to feel uncomfortable around this man, the aura that he was producing was signaling to him that this man was incredibly strong. Adam. Thanks, my child, without your help, war would have broke out. For that, I humbly thank you. Name. Adam. Fame. The father of humanity. Level. 330, suppressed. Health points HP. 32,000, 32,000. Magic MP. 48,375, 48,375. Fatigue. 0. Strength STR. 650. Vitality Vit. 640. Agility AGL. 650. Intelligence Int. 645. Sense S. 655. Luck LCK. 420. Skills. Eyes of the Lord. The ability to copy any attack or move with a simple glance. The will of the Father. The will soon strong that even after death, Adam's body will continue to fight for his children. Fatherly aura. To all humans, he'll have a fatherly aura. Issei. Holy shit, it's actually Adam the father. All the emotions that Issei was experiencing, anger from Kakabiel nearly killing the world with a massive war just because he wanted one, sadness, seeing the teared up and worried Rossweisse in front of him, he felt terrible doing this to her, and surprise in seeing the one and only father of humanity. His body was still bleeding, blood was leaking everywhere, having a hole in the gut wasn't something that would easily heal up by normal means. Issei was still a normal human, not a dragon who would have an enhanced regenerative genes. Adam smirked in seeing the reaction that Issei had when seeing him, many of his children would say the same when meeting him. Adam. Rest my child, your dad will take care of everything. Issei tried his best to rest, relaxing onto the lap of Rossweisse. Issei couldn't do anything besides slowly cough out blood. The pain that he was feeling wasn't as bad as what he experienced from Ludwig the Accursed, but pain was pain, it wasn't bearable. Adam looked regretful at seeing one of his children's critical state. Adam. I should have been here sooner. He turned towards Valper, seeing one of his children in a critical state would always trigger something in him. As a real father, he was going to make sure that everything will be fine. Valper wasn't his child, he submitted himself to the church and became an insane priest who has been harming his children. To Adam, Valper was nothing more than an insane version of the original Lucifer. Just like what he did with Lucifer, he'll have to kill him. Valper slowly clapped at seeing the interaction between the two, knowing who this man was from the words that Issei had said, he was fascinated with Adam being in front of him. Maybe he would be able to defeat him and use this man, and Issei was lab rats for one of his experiments. Valper. So, you're the supposed Adam that Kakabiel had been trying his best to gain revenge upon. You really don't look like much. My minions, attack and leave no evidence that we were here. Everyone around Valper screamed, running towards the few individuals in front of them. However, in an instant, everyone around Valper was already decapitated. Valper turned to hear blood exploding out of the heads of his troops. What was happening? Adam. It pains me to do this, but I must. Valper. Amazing work, you truly are the father. Ignoring all these peasant lab rats, I have one last trick up my sleeve. However, there was someone that was in the far back running towards Adam. With a huge disoriented arm larger than its body, the monster was several times the size of Adam. Having the energy signature roughly around a peak ultimate class, Issei didn't have any fear in his eyes, because the man was the father. He could trust father closing his eyes and resting. Rossweisse took notice of this and began to comfort the sleeping Issei. Valper. I welcome Juggernaut. Generic name, but it consists of all my years of researching. Having the energy of multitudes of different species, this monster could even give Kakabiel a run for his money. Expecting to see a horrified expression on Adam, instead he was met with the bored expression that Adam gave to all his opponents. Adam. Must you be this persistent? The monster reeled its fist back, however, before it could even land the blow. The head of the monster was punched all the way around by Adam's fist. Staring at the beast with a smile, the beast dropped dead onto the ground while Adam stood on top. Adam. You can never beat the potential of humanity. Valper. Impossible, this can't be happening. All my work, it can't be gone. He began to back up, all his work had been destroyed in one punch. All the holy sword victim's energy was gone just like that, the blood of all those he tortured was gone, he was left worthless. Not even being able to accomplish anything because his head was decapitated with a simple divine axe kick from Adam. Adam turned around to see Issei knock the fuck out on Rossweisse's lap. He chuckled and walked towards the two. Adam. Interesting to see that he actually won against a cadre class. Not many humans with their pure strength can do that. Respect to him, at least some of my descendants don't rely on just the other races to become strong. Rossweisse. Wait, you're Adam, the father of humanity. She was shocked to see the father of humanity in front of her. She heard the word Adam from Issei and out two and two together and realized that she was in the presence of an all-powerful Adam. Let me guess, one of Odin's. That old geezer anyways, make sure to take care of him. I have to get the milk for my wife. Since this child and you seen my presence, we might visit time and time again to make sure that you both are fine. We seem to have a bunch of enemies ever since I killed a specific god. He ran towards the streets, probably running towards the store. Rossweisse smiled while hugging Issei. This man was one with determination, not as much as Adam, but he was making it there. Picking the boy up, he walked towards her house, but that was when she felt another powerful presence coming. Turning her head towards Serziches, who finally arrived in this location. Serziches? What the hell happened here? A man with honorable armor, with red hair, blue eyes, and a serious yet confused facial expression, appeared in the middle of a crater. Next to him was a white-haired woman with an hourly glass figure, and she had a worried expression on her face. When seeing the destruction surrounding her, the both of them looked to see a destruction everywhere. The craters, the magma, the horrible weather, and even the atmosphere was terrible in this magic circle. Serziches looked straight ahead to where he sensed a small energy signature, looking to see Rossweisse carrying a destroyed, injured, knocked out Issei Hyoudou. Running towards them while his wife continued to scope around the area. Serziches? What happened to him? Many may not have known this, but just because he was titled Lucifer doesn't mean he was a cold-hearted ruler. Years upon years to develop his title as Lucifer in a good manner, replenishing the meaning of being a devil to the other supernatural beings. Rossweisse? The Lucifer. Squeezing onto Issei, preventing the Lucifer from seeing the poor boy. Serziches saw this and began to think of who this might be to Issei, seeing the way that she was holding him and protecting him, this woman may have a crush on the poor boy. Seeing as she hadn't met him, Serziches knew that pressuring her in a demanding tone wouldn't be the best idea. Not wanting to scare her, Serziches began to step a few feet away from the woman. Serziches? Hey, I'm just here to see what happened to him. Those injuries aren't normal and need to be treated as quickly as possible. Trying to assure that he wasn't going to harm the boy, Rossweisse didn't know what to do. Serziches began to point at the damn hole in the chest of the boy, it was continuously bleeding. Eventually, she slowly began to give the boy to Serziches, which he began to signal for some people to teleport to his location. In a little bit, some devils came and were directed to try their best to heal the boy. With the power of cloud, Serziches was able to give hope to Issei. Serziches began to question the Valkyrie about what happened in his territory. Serziches? How no, that's the wrong way to start. What happened? Rossweisse was hesitant in explaining what happened. So, she began to slowly explain as the best she could, even if she was knocked out for a little while, she still got the gist of what was happening between Kakabiel and his plan to restart a war. Slowly explaining with an angered expression, remembering the crackhead and the way that he thought that a war was just something that was just for entertainment, Serziches noticed the change in facial expression. Rossweisse? It started off with Issei fighting against those holy women. They were beaten on the ground with the Excalibur. Then, Kakabiel came in, stealing the Excaliburs and creating the true Excalibur. I was beaten up and pushed aside while Issei fought against Kakabiel on equal terms. She pointed towards each of the craters on the ground. She moved her hand towards the destroyed terrain and the cracks in the ground, showing magma pouring out. The heat rising in the area while the magic circle was becoming unstable from the continuous amount of energy being released. Rossweisse? Issei desperately fought the crackhead until he was pushed to the corner. Not giving up, even with a damn sword in his gut, the both of them ended the battle with Issei killing the fallen and dropping nearly dead on the ground. Serziches sighed in anger, his sister wasn't around when she was the damn guardian of this territory. A flash of red light was seen glowing on Serziches' eyes. His power was beginning to get out of control. To think that his sister wouldn't warn him when a battle was happening at this caliber could have resulted in everything that they fought for during the Devil's Civil War to be wasted because another war would have occurred. She was supposed to warn him beforehand. What the hell was wrong with her? These holy women were also part of the problem. Issei was a pretty chilled person to Serziches, and here he was doing something that wasn't meant for him. Kakabiel was aiming for war, he knew that from his conversation with Azazel and the complaints that Azazel would say when they were drinking together. Rias was supposed to warn him, she could have easily sensed a massive energy surge coming from here. Walking towards the injured Issei, seeing him being. Unfortunately, they were only able to heal him to the point where the hole in his shoulder was stabilized and was stitched up. His other injuries weren't healed due to some circumstances that had to deal with him having no stamina nor any magic in him. Picking him up and bringing him to Rossweisse, handing him over to the teared-up Rossweisse, she grabbed onto Issei and held onto him with a tight grip. Serziches did the unthinkable. Serziches? I apologize, as the Lucifer and the owner of this territory, I should have come sooner than later. Thanks to my foolishness, this poor child was harmed and nearly killed. Bowing in respect and apologizing, even Grafia was shocked at how quickly her husband could change his personality. Rossweisse was caught off guard from the stories that she had heard about the original Lucifer. She had heard about how ruthless, cold-hearted, terrible person that he was, but even then, she didn't want to think that the Lucifer that was currently leading the devils was that bad. Even then she had this feeling in her heart that he still might be that way. This apology from the goddamn fucking Lucifer, one of the most powerful and prideful beings, wasn't something to downplay. Rossweisse, it wasn't your fault, you were busy doing your own thing. The person that was currently in this land and who owned it should have been here. Rossweisse knew of Rias owning this land, it was obvious due to her following the energy traces of Issei during school and her personally meeting Rias in the hallways. Serziches. Which is why I wanted to apologize, my sister has continuously showed disappointment in taking care of this land. For that, I'll be making it up to you by enhancing your house and by paying you a huge bunch of cash. Before anything could happen, someone was still alive and ran towards Rossweisse. Creature. I'll kill you. Having 4 sets of wings, teeth uglier than Kakabiel's hairline, and a breath even worse than looking at Kakabiel, the man attempted to stab the unguarded Rossweisse. However, his hand was caught by Serziches and twisted by him. Serziches. Before creation comes destruction. The being tried its best to punch Serziches, but everything that it tried to do would fail. Serziches. Hakai. The creature was erased into nothingness, while Grafia was standing behind him with a stoic expression. Coming out of shock, Rossweisse was about to decline the offer, but Serziches had already left the place. Grafia knew what was happening and quickly followed suit. Rossweisse was left alone with a knocked-out Issei who was beginning to wake up. Issei. What the hell happened? I was just about to kill a Karen. Damn, that was an amazing dream. He looked up to see a blushing Rossweisse, the both of them stared at each other for a little while until Issei was dropped onto the floor. Issei. Ouch, would you do that? Holding his head in pain while rolling around like a child, Rossweisse hugged her arms and glared at Issei. Rossweisse. You were supposed to be knocked out, not awake. Issei looked at her with a confused face, the one and only confused face because this woman literally accepted going on a date with him a few hours ago, and here she is being embarrassed with holding him. Issei. We're dating well, we are about to date. Is this more embarrassing than that? Issei saw her turn her head in a cute manner, that was when another powerful presence began to appear. A man with blonde hair, a massive suit with armor on it, 12 angelic wings appeared in front of them. With him was another woman, this woman was beautiful, blonde-haired, and had the same 12 wings that the man had. Both of them had halos on the top of their head, the both of them looked at the two in front of them. One was on the ground holding his head, while the other was blushing at the brown-haired boy. Name. Michiel. Fame. One of the Seraphim. Title. The Substitute God. Race. Angel. Gender. Male. Level. 140. Health points HP. 12,400, 12,400. Magic MP. 18,900, 18,900. Fatigue. 0. Strength STR. 220. Vitality VIT. 248. Agility AGL. 230. Intelligence INT. 252. Sense S. 240. Luck LCK. 160. Additional effects, plus 25% damage reduction, plus 25% resistance to magic. Skills. Hour of the Light. The power that was bestowed upon the Seraphims, they have the weaker and less perfected version of their father's energy. The power of the light allows for said being to use light spears, light-based attacks, and light-based enhancement. Michiel looked at Issei and quickly realized that this must have been the boy that Zenobia was complaining about. Yet here he was damaged on the floor while the Valkyrie was with him. He could also see the regretful expression that Irina had when she came up to Michiel when complaining. Michiel. Child, what has happened in this area? Issei. Shit, a whole lot of shit has happened. Being as blunt and as simplistic as he could, Issei began explaining what happened. Issei. Black Pigeon came and did some shit saying he was about to start some war. I came and fought him to the death, and here we are now. Taking some time to understand what he was saying, Michiel looked to see some black feathers on the ground. Knowing that it was a fallen, he heard some rumors about Azazel complaining about one of his cadres going rogue. Michiel. This is why we didn't want to send these three here. Asia was forced to come while these two begged to have a mission. They could have died knowing the complaints that Zenvoya had received, she must have fought you because you didn't listen to her orders. He sighed while the women came next to him and calmed him down. Name. Gabriel. Fame. Heaven's prettiest. Title. One of the Seraphim. Race. Angel. Gender. Female. Level. 130. Health points HP. 12,000, 12,000. Magic MP. 16,500, 16,500. Fatigue. 0. Strength STR. 200. Vitality VIT. 240. Agility AGL. 230. Intelligence INT. 220. Sense S. 230. Luck LCK. 155. Additional effects, plus 20% damage reduction, plus 20% resistance to magic. Skills. Hour of the Light. The power that was bestowed upon the seraphims, they have the weaker and less perfected version of their father's energy. The power of the light allows for said being to use light spears, light-based attacks, and light-based enhancement. Gabriel. I apologize for her behavior. Was she a major problem for you? Issei had to say, this woman was quite pretty. That was when he was kicked on the arm by Rossweisse. Issei. Fuck. Holding on to his injured arm, he sucked up the pain and smiled when looking at the two angels. Issei. She got her ass beaten the fuck up twice. What's better than beating up someone who's a Karen to you? They chuckled at how blunt this man was, simply cussing without caring when these two are angels of the highest degree. Mitchell. I'm guessing that everything is now under control. Issei. What does it look like? Gabriel. Calm down, we're just asking a question. Barely we're not getting the message. Issei. Yes, everything is perfect. You don't need to worry about us, just worry about your own people. The both of them sighed and walked towards the the 10 people that were unconscious due to the beating that they received. Rossweisse. Since they're basically finally gone. Do you want to go back to my house? We still have a few hours before the date and you definitely need the extra resting. Not taking a no, she grabbed onto Issei, bridal style, and walked towards her home. Issei, however, wasn't even embarrassed. He was too tired to complain, he just stared at Rossweisse. Issei. Rossweisse. Yeah. Issei. Thank you. Before she could even say anything, she heard light snoring to see Issei sleeping. Smiling, while Issei wasn't paying attention, she leaned down and gave him a quick peck. Rossweisse. Idiot, I should be the one thanking you. Please go support Dat-Boi-Eraser for writing that awesome fanfic. Ch28 The date and surprise. Issei was sitting down waiting at the cafe at 5 waiting for Rossweisse to appear. Sitting down, he began to remember the events with Rainer. This was the same situation that occurred. He had to wait for the woman to appear, beginning to remember the events, he clenched his fists, which slightly caused a shockwave to occur. People near him were confused on where the wind was coming from, but that was when Rossweisse finally appeared. Wearing a dress which went down to her knees, the color of the dress matched her hair, the earring she wore was matching with her, and she was matching with the innocent smile on her face. Rossweisse. I'm sorry that I made you wait this long. Issei was still staring at her dress, it must have been one expensive thing. Issei. It's alright, you didn't make me wait that long. Anyways, let's enter the place and get this moving. Grabbing her hand, the both of them walked into the place. Expecting to see something amazing, they saw the ordinary cafe. The reviews said that the place was a 4-star place, expecting to see some decent quality of the place. Everyone in the place looked to be having an amazing time, why not give the place a chance? Walking towards one of the empty places, Issei brought Rossweisse with him to it. Issei. Hopefully this place has decent food. Issei had tried many restaurants, including fast food restaurants, from such as McDonald's, Burger King, Friendly's, Denny's, and Wendy's, but most of them either have some sort of problem, such as the service time, the food being inconsistently good, and the people serving being some of the largest bitches. It was inconsistent with the serving, the food wasn't something called amazing, that's why he would oftentimes attempt to perfect his cooking skills or have his mother cook food for him. As they say, nothing is better than a mother's cooking. Rossweisse. Calm down you big moron. The place has good food, I've come here many times before. Anyways, what was that form from yesterday? Issei. That's a secret for another time. So, I didn't expect you to wear this like seriously, that thing looks amazing. She blushed, not expecting anything good to come from the dress, she also complimented him. Rossweisse. I also love your clothing, simple and stylish. Just the way I like it. Issei chuckled at this, that was when the waiter came. Waiter. How may I help you two fine people today at our cafe? Rossweisse began to go through the menu, trying to find something good to eat. That was when she came to number 69, the special bundle. Rossweisse. I'll have a number 69. Waiter. Nice, what about you? Issei. I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda. Rossweisse looked at him as if he were crazy to eat this much. She did realize that he does fight all the time, adventure all the time, maybe he needed the extra food to keep his energy up during all that. Oh, how wrong she was, Issei doesn't even need food like a normal person, he only eats because of his enjoyment of tasting the food. Waiter. Damn, is that all? The both of them nodded and the waiter left leaving the two alone. Rossweisse. Did you really have to order that much? Issei. Of course, who doesn't want the big smoke order? You shouldn't be talking when you took the 69 bundle which has multiple meals. Rossweisse blushed in embarrassment once more, she didn't expect for him to notice that she also got a massive order. She made sure to take the order that was on the way back of the menu. Issei. You know you look adorable when you look like this. Issei wasn't going to back down, this time he was going to actually say something about her blushing. It looked adorable, unlike Rias or Akeno, who both were giving this slut-type aura. Rossweisse wasn't. She was giving this aura of innocence. Rossweisse. Issei. See, this is what I am talking about. He chuckled while Rossweisse hid her face under her hands. It was only Issei who would be able to call her that without being stabbed. There was something to her about Issei. She had already admitted it before, but she had already fell for the man. Admiration had turned to crush when the man would always show positivity to her and wasn't afraid of telling her the truth. Scene change. Michiel was staring at his subordinates with a disappointed expression. Even his sister, Gabriel, was next to him. Michiel. You fought a human because he didn't listen to your order. Zenobia. It wasn't just. Michiel. Silence. This outburst even scared Asia, who wasn't getting scolded because she was forcefully dragged into the mess by Irina and Zenobia. Michiel. I met the man and understood what was happening when he and his woman was telling me what happened after you foolishly fought him. Gabriel began to calm her brother down, not wanting him to fall because of his anger. Michiel. You fools nearly caused a great war, something that we won't be able to live through. Think Zenobia think. Zenobia. But getting the Excalibur fragments was important. Michiel. Our survival is more important than a toothpick. Zenobia. But. Irina. Zenobia, why won't you understand that you're in the wrong with me? Michiel. You both will be demoted back to the church for some extra training. Turning around, he was about to walk off, but Irina stopped him. Irina. What about the Excalibur fragments? Michiel. I was able to sense the sword with that Issei kid and I believe that it should stay like that. The sword originally belonged to the humans and wanting to make sure that we don't anger a specific individual, I allowed him to keep the sword. Shocking the both of them, Gabriel and Michiel left. Michiel was not in the mood for any more talk. Gabriel. You both have disappointed the both of us. Time skip brought to you by Goku staring at the mirror, ready to fight himself. After finishing their lunch, the both of them had walked outside to see the rain. The clouds weren't on their side. What was wrong with Poseidon? Rossweisse. Did you bring an umbrella by any chance? Rossweisse didn't want to get her suit dirty, the price of this thing was expensive. She had asked Auden for the favor of getting enough money for this suit. Getting it dirty by the mud and the dirt would not only disappoint Auden, but it would also make her look like shit in front of Issei for the rest of the day. She was hoping that he would have an umbrella, they couldn't use magic in human-filled locations. When she saw Issei look at her with no answer, she was expecting the worst, which was the truth. Issei. Do I look like the type to carry one? She didn't know what to do, her day was ruined because she didn't check the weather of today. Issei, noticing her quick mood change from a happy expression to a saddened one, knew why. It was clear as day why. Her dress was easily one of the most expensive things he had seen in person. Knowing that the rain wouldn't be the problem, but the dirt, mud, and the cars splashing the mud and dirt would be the problem. Since they were in a small town which was densely populated, Issei did the only thing he could think of. Picking up the woman, bridal style, to prevent the mud and dirt to reach her. He began to walk towards the next location, which was the shop. Rossweisse. Hey this. Issei. I'm only returning the favor and. He looked down towards her with a smile, comforting her with the strongest smile he could produce. Issei. Wouldn't want that expensive dress to be ruined with that beautiful smile of yours. Running along through the rain, Issei was receiving all the punishment while Rossweisse was receiving the smaller end. Smiling while hugging the man, Rossweisse was right to date this man. Time and time again, he had shown care for her, maybe it would be the right time to also return the favor by buying him something soon. She would need to ask Auden for another favor soon. Rossweisse. Have you ever been on a date before? She wished she never said that question because the sudden mood drop that Issei had scared her. The moment she finished the sentence was when Issei began to remember the memories of Rainer killing him. Even when he did his best to make her happy, she betrayed him and played with his heart. Ever since then, he had feared woman, but over time it calmed down, but the memories were still there. Issei. Yes, I have. Not wanting to ask him anything beyond that, not wanting to ruin the mood of the date. When the both of them arrived, Rossweisse immediately entered the shop while Issei stared at the fountain that wasn't that far away from the shop. The same shop where he was killed from Rainer, clenching his fist, he hated the fact that he was killed by someone so pathetic. It pissed him off. Sighing and knowing that he couldn't change the past, he walked off towards the shop. Entering the shop to see Rossweisse trying her best to back away from a man who was continuously trying to grab onto her. She was punched the man in the gut and kicked them away. Rossweisse. Don't touch me, you fucking creep. Talk about mistakes, how much regret does your father have for breaking the condom at the last moment? The creep didn't respond, he just stood there holding his gut. Rossweisse. Let me fix their mistakes. It'll only hurt for a quick second. The man was shitting boulders, running away with boulders in his pants. That was until he ran into Issei. His killing intent was being released onto the man, he began shitting continents in his pants. It was hilarious to see him waddle away. Rossweisse dusted herself off from the disgusting touch of the man. That was when she noticed Issei and ran towards him. Grabbing him and bringing him towards the clothing area, she was going to buy him a gift. Issei. Where are we headed? She didn't say anything besides pointing towards the clothing area, sighing, and knowing how long women take to shop. Issei tried his best to put up a smile, but he was crying in the inside. Time skip brought to you by SMG4 making random videos while doing crack. Auden was seen sitting down in the middle of his throne, staring at the clock and waiting for something to happen. Auden was waiting for the news of the mission that he sent his trusted Valkyrie, Rossweisse. Auden. Maybe it's about time to send someone in. Calling for someone to come into his room, he didn't want to bother Rossweisse, but for her safety to be ensured, he would make sure that she would come back unharmed. She was one of his elites, losing her would make them weaker, as well as losing someone such as her would just be terrible. That was when someone with a huge hammer on their shoulder walked into the room. Being massive in size, nearing 9 foot tall, this man was one of the sons of Auden. Thor, one of the strongest warrior of the Norse pantheon, has been summoned by his father, Auden. Thor. What do you need? Auden looked directly at his son and began to explain the situation. Auden. I need you to enter the town of Kuo and seek out Rossweisse. She has been in the town for a while and it's beginning to bother me. Bring her back, she may also have found a man that has interested her. Auden remembered the call that he received from Rossweisse about needing some money for a dress. When asking why, she began stuttering, which already signaled that she found a man that she wanted to impress. Thor nodded and walked off. Watch out Kuo, because the god of thunder is coming. Time skip brought to you by SpongeBob actually passing his driving school. Issei was exhausted. Rossweisse not only bought clothing for her, but she also bought shoes, clothing, and other accessories for him as well. How much money did this woman have because he wasn't paying for all this? It didn't help the fact that Issei did the same for Rainer, yet he was killed by her. He really needed a drink after this. At last, Rossweisse was having a great time. Maybe he could play some of the new Resident Evil game later tonight. Issei. Are we done yet? Rossweisse. Almost, we need bring these back to my home. Issei wanted to die, he was still recovering, and having this much was too much. Slowly making their way to her house, Issei was met with Rossweisse's house being transformed into a 7-story mansion that had a fountain. Rossweisse. Wow, the Lucifer really outdid himself. This is amazing. Issei. What did he even do? Rossweisse. Well, you were unconscious, he said that he would be renovating this place and will be making it far larger than before. Issei wasn't worried about that, he was more worried about his parents. Quickly, activating his powers and moving fast enough to place all the shopping items in the first room of Rossweisse's house, he ran towards the left side of the house. Where was his house? Issei. Lucifer, what the hell did you do? Looking towards the house that was closest to the mansion, he could see that his house was fine, but it was pushed to the side. Sighing in relief, the Lucifer didn't fuck up and destroyed his house. Running back to Rossweisse, who was in her house screaming like a child of how amazing it was. Rossweisse. This is amazing. I've always wanted a mansion and this a dream come true. Issei. That's cool and all. I'll come back in a few hours when you calm yourself down. He was about to play that new Resident Evil game, but Rossweisse didn't let him leave. Rossweisse. Oh no you don't. You'll be staying here with me until today is over. She quickly grabbed onto him and dragged him back. The both of them began to explore the place, explore the arcade room, the patio, and even the roof. Rossweisse. The Lucifer outdid himself with this. Even I am impressed with the inside. Issei. Well, I got a new place to visit. That's a win in my book. Rossweisse. Yeah, today was amazing. After all that fighting, going out and spending time with you was better than dealing with everything around. Issei. It was fun until the shopping. Rossweisse. It wasn't that bad was it? Issei. Carrying around 20 bags filled with the both of our clothing is called ludicrous. She chuckled. Since they were on the couch, Rossweisse went next to Issei and cuddled next to him. Staring at the TV, they were watching Dragon Ball Super, the fight between Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku versus Beyond Limits Jiren. An amazing fight. It raised a question of where the hell did the budget go for the episodes before the Tournament of Power. Rossweisse. That fight was amazing. Wish I could do things like that. Issei. With enough training, you could become a parody version of them. Rossweisse. Really? Before anything else could happen, Rossweisse asked one question. Rossweisse. Issei, could I ever become as strong as you? This caught Issei off guard. To become as strong as him. Issei. Drink milk and you'll get there. She playfully hit him on the head. Issei. Why do you ask? She looked at her fist and was hesitant to say the truth. Rossweisse. Well, I always wanted to fight by your side. Just like yesterday, or felt amazing knowing that I was doing something. I just want to ensure that you don't get hurt. At least she had good intentions. Issei patted her head and chuckled. This caused her to pout. Issei. Anyone can become strong, but the one thing that holds them back is themselves. That doubt that you keep within you is holding you back. Did you see Surzich's Lucifer? Did you see how powerful he was? That was all from training, he was also weak like us, but he stayed determined and become the strongest devil in existence. You can as well. He was interrupted when Rossweisse hugged him, she knew that Issei wouldn't doubt her. Quickly pecking him on the cheek, she changed the channel to regular show, the last episode tears were beginning to fill Issei's eyes. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching, if you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day, bye.